I grew up in Australia, and for most of the last number of decades, we lived in relative peace. It seems, more and more nowadays that peace is being broken, but yeah, we haven't really had to deal with war. The same couldn't be said for my grandparents, for example. My granddad served in World War II, served in the New Zealand Army, and my grandparents on the other side both grew up, a bit younger, but grew up in Germany and Austria during World War II. When thinking about World War II and thinking about my heritage, I've often thought, how did this country, seemingly small country in the middle of Europe, how was it responsible, let's say, for such a big war? Not only that, 30 years before, we had World War I, right? How did this region become a global powerhouse to the extent where they were able to start 2 world wars? Now, both of my grandparents grew up on the Danube, one of the major waterways in Europe. The Danube starts in the Black Forest, where all the fairy tale stories come from, flows from there through Austria and Hungary and through to the Black Sea. Now, my grandma was from the Black Forest region, and my granddad was closer to Vienna in Austria. And they found each other somehow, connected by this river. And it's here in that we find one of the keys to how, especially over the last century or so of growing trade, more global trade, whether it be between Europe and Asia or whether it be opening up the seas, we see there's a key theme in how countries become these powerhouses. And that is these rivers. That is the geography of these nations. For example, a few hundred years ago, one of the most powerful nation states in the world was Venice, this place that was a swampland not that long before, managed to become a dominant player in the global economic space. Today, you have a major superpower, the US. Before that, it was the UK, right? Britain became the global powerhouse. And what do the stories of all of these countries have in common? Access to water, access to good, reliable rivers, access to the ocean. And it also helps if you sit in the middle of the trade routes, yeah? So Germany sitting in the middle of Europe, Venice sitting in the middle of the Silk Road, let's say, or the maritime Silk Road. And in particular, being able to take advantage of their natural resources, their strong rivers and their coastlines. And why does this matter? Well, if you've got this type of natural resource or natural geography, it means that you can easily transport goods. It means you can ship things, you can harvest your crops or other agriculture, and you can put it on boats and you can ship it around the region nice and easily if you've got these rivers. Ship it globally if those rivers connect to important seas and oceans. The US, in particular, has these strong rivers. The Mississippi, for example, flows straight through it, fed by glaciers from the north and big mountains, the big Rocky Mountains to the west. Which means you have nice, reliable and strong rivers to help you carry your produce. The cheapest way to transport things around the world. And that means you can do things much more efficiently. That means you can dominate those industries. And so, yes, Germany is a country that is very much blessed with strong rivers, the Danube, the Rhine in particular, help it to connect to the North Sea, help it to connect to the Black Sea, and is a key reason why a lot of the wealth of Europe got concentrated, has over time gotten concentrated within the German heartland there.
Now, if you're a bit of a finance nerd like me, why don't you check out my Substack? There's a link in the description, and here you'll find additional concept notes, unedited videos, community chats, and much more. See you next time.